Hello everyone, welcome to Neutral View Trading Channel. In today's topic, let us discuss about fundamental analysis of stock market. So, what is fundamental analysis? Fundamental analysis is basically a method to understand the stock by looking into its financial and economic factors which will impact company's performance. So, we are looking at financial and economic factors of a stock which will impact company's performance. So this analysis helps an investor to buy or sell a stock. So what is fundamental analysis? Fundamental analysis is simply assessing the financial and economic factors of company to buy or sell its share. Why this particular fundamental analysis is important? To understand undervalued and overvalued stock. Secondly, it also provides a comprehensive view of company's financial health like earnings, revenue, assets, liabilities, or such key metrics. So, why it is important to understand fundamental analysis? The first one, to find undervalued and overvalued stock. It also provides comprehensive view of company's health. Thirdly, is to identify companies that are likely to grow and generate good returns. So, when we come to how part of it, we will have to see practical charts that are available in the market. Let us get into the screener. This particular website provides you a fundamental view of any of the stock in the stock market. We have taken Tata Motors as example. In Tata Motors, the market capital of this particular stock is 1,73,000 crores. Why is it important? So, there are three kinds of stocks: stock below 500 crores, stock between 500 crores to 5,000 crores, and stock above 5,000 crores. Correct? So, this particular stock comes under above 5,000 crores market capital category. It is always assumed that good market capital companies are better profit generating and dividend providing companies. There are some other market capital companies as well which do not generate dividends or profits like that, but it is simple assumption that with the good market capital you can invest in a company which has good market capital. Under this section you can also notice return on equity. So to understand in a study purpose, we have considered return on equity in a general terms. While doing a thorough technical and fundamental analysis, we would consider some of the good stocks, right? As far as this particular stock is concerned, return on equity is minus 22.3%. Always the plus ones would be a good company. The face value of a stock. Face value of a stock simply means initially when the company was introduced to the market, each board member would have purchased the stock at this particular price, 2 rupees per stock. If a board member had 1 lakh shares or something like that, he would have purchased somewhere around for 2 rupees those 1 lakh shares is the assumption. You can see stock PE. At this point here, stock PE is currently not mentioned. Stock PE is simply a means stock price or price equals to earnings. So whenever a company's price is less and earnings is more, then you have to invest in this particular company. We can also see dividend yield. Here you can find the information like how much the company is providing as dividend to individual investors. So such informations you can find it in the dividend yield percentage. So I'll move on in the same page where we will also understand the quarterly results of this particular stock. This particular section will provide you in-depth fundamental analysis of this stock. If you see, the first column that we will always look into is sales in quarterly analysis. So suppose if we consider 1 year analysis of the stock, and if we want to do some long-term investment on the stock, we will have to consider from last year's December to this year's December. As far as this is concerned, you may notice the stock sales was 72,000 at one point, 78,000 at one point, and it has now reached to 88,000, which means over the period of time, the stock sales has been increasing, which is a positive sign for any of the investor. The number 2 point is net profit. Net profit here becomes very, very important. This one particular point can make investors invest in bulk at times. We are considering this particular stock for 1 year, right? So we will again start it from the December 2021. As far as this, when in December 2021, the stock's quarterly profit for December month was 1,451. So if you see in March, it is minus 90.92. Last year's December, we may see it has increased considerably, and the net profit gained by this company, it is 3,000 crores, which is again a positive sign for investor. Profit and loss analysis becomes very, very important. You may see it is actually as for years from March to March of every year. Again, here you may see sales and net profit. So sales, as far as sales is concerned, we want to do for 1 year, right? So if you look at the previous data in March 2021, the sales was 2,49,795. Previous year, 2022 March, the sales was 2,78,000. For tentatively, it is 3 lakhs. It has increased over the years. So this again is a positive sign for any investor. How net profit will also benefit, let us see now. If you notice, for March 2021, it is 13,395. Again, if you notice for March 2022, it is 11,000. So if you notice 13,000 to 11,000, there is a decrease from year to year. So if you see tentatively, it is again minus 3,000. So this again somewhere is a good sign, not that bad sign though. Here in this section, again, we can consider return on equity. For over 10 years, the stock has yielded for investor 7%. For 5 years, the stock has yielded minus 5%. For 3 years period, 14%. For last year, it has yielded investor around minus 22%. So as far as this is concerned, it is a big no to invest in this stock. But this particular thing alone will not decide the stock's upward and downward movements. We will now consider the balance sheet of the stock. Balance sheet becomes very important because to understand what are some of the reserves of the stock and what are some of the borrowings of the stocks, all such things becomes very important. If you see, the company has reserved 43,000 in March 2022. If you see, the same company has reserved 25,000 of reserves. This particular figure is in crores. So we will have to see the borrowings now. So this particular figure of borrowings become very, very important again. So huge borrowings is always a big no for investing in the company. When you see the shareholding pattern, it starts from promoters, foreign institutional investors, domestic institutional investors, government and public is also an investor. The shareholding pattern becomes very important. So if you see promoters, from time to time, they would have holded the same quantity of shares, and at some point they would have decreased their shareholding pattern. So when you notice here, if we consider from past 1 year, in December 2021, the promoters had 46.40. And again, in September, they had holded around 46.40. From December, they had reduced holdings to 0.01. What this indicates is this is a negative sentiment in the market. So whenever the promoters have reduced their holdings, it is always considered promoters have lost faith in the company or like that. But in this case, it is just 0.01%, right? So it does not matter much though. When you consider FII holding becomes very, very important. FIIs are foreign institutional investors who will be investing in Indian stock market from the abroad. So if you notice the same 1 year analysis as per the stock is concerned, this particular holding pattern always differs as per as company sales, profit, everything. They do in-depth analysis. They would had a team to do such analysis. When doing such things, we will also have to consider this FII holdings in stock market. FIIs were considerably changing their holdings time and again. Currently in March 2023, they have increased to 15.34 from 13.89. What this indicates is FIIs had shown interest. Their team has found something, information that is very valuable, and they have increased the holdings in the share. Again, DIIs, domestic institutional investors, where within India, some companies like LIC, HDFC Insurance, like that, many companies would have invested in such stocks. So they are also considered as domestic institutional investors. They have also increased from in the month of March 2023. If you notice from December, it is 15.21. Now they have increased their holding, which means they would have also found some information that is valuable. So they are staying invested in the stock. Government of India also has some of the holdings on the share, and it has remained constant from last year if we observe. And we, like retail investors, are all invested in the stock, right? So our holdings will also be considered in the shareholding pattern. With this particular shareholding pattern, one can assess how the investors throughout the world are showing an interest in the stock, and with that we can make decisions about getting invested in the stock or not. When you check the document section, under document section, there is a search tab. Always look out for this particular point where intimation of outcome of board meeting. This particular meeting will again be about balance sheet analysis. So the company would release every year their balance sheet to retail shareholders, or they would place it in the BSE or NSE website. In Screener, you can directly access to that document. I will show you how that particular board meeting company analysis balance sheet statement would look like. This is how balance sheet will look like. Usually, you should consider the balance sheet of this, where it will have information of quarter ended for 3 months, every 3 months, that is posted in the NSE or BSE website. If you see, the company would have considered 3 months analysis for quarterly results. So in this, as a retail investor, what should you look at in the quarterly analysis is the profit and loss after tax. Profit and loss after tax for the period is 506. In the month of December was 506. If you notice, in the September month, they had posted 292 crores. So what this bracket means, the company was in loss for the period of September 2022. As far as the quarterly analysis of September month 2022, it was 292 crores. If you compare this particular loss and if you see December month's profit 506 crores, it is very evident that the company has been performing very well in just 3 months. So this one will now trigger investors' sentiment, and they should now make a buying decision with this particular analysis. So this is how fundamental analysis works in the stock market. It is very, very important to do fundamental analysis in the stock market. Apart from this, we should also consider technical analysis. Together, fundamental and technical analysis will deliver a better results, and an investor should consider doing both together while investing in the stock. Thank you for watching this video. Let's meet up in the next video.